In the quiet corners of the galaxy, there was a blue and green planet that many feared, but few truly understood. That planet was Earth. For years, Earth had watched the galaxy from a distance. Wars came and went. Alliances were made. Empires rose and fell. But Earth stayed silent. The leaders of Earth had made one clear rule. We will not join this war unless we are given no choice. The other alien empires laughed. They believed Earth was afraid. They thought the humans had grown soft. After all, Earth had not sent soldiers, ships, or weapons in years. Earth had become quiet. Too quiet, but no one remembered why Earth stayed silent. They forgot what humans had once done. And that was a dangerous mistake. On a far-off colony planet called Lyra 7, humans lived peacefully with an old alien species known as the Velari. It was a small planet with forests, rivers, and a beautiful purple sky. The people there had no armies, no warships. Only farms, homes, and schools. One family on Lyra 7 was special. A human named Jarin had married a Velari woman named Ella. Together, they had a daughter named Arin, the first child of both bloods. She was a symbol of peace between species. Earth had promised long ago that if anything happened to this child, they would act, but the galaxy had forgotten that promise too. One cold morning, Lyra 7's skies turned black. Unknown ships appeared above the colony. They didn't speak. They didn't explain. They just attacked. Buildings burned. People ran. The peaceful colony screamed for help, but no one came. A group of armed soldiers aliens with red armor and cold, glowing eyes broke into Jarin's house. Ela fought back. Jarin was injured. And Arin was taken. The attackers left behind only a message. This is a warning to Earth. Stay out, or the next child will not survive. The message was sent across the galaxy. It reached Earth within hours. Inside a quiet command center deep under Earth's surface, human leaders watched the video. No one spoke. No one moved. A woman with gray eyes, Director Rana, stood up. She looked at the screen showing Arin's face. "She's the one we swore to protect," she said softly. "But the Council will want peace," said one of her advisors. Director Rana didn't answer. She walked to a locked panel, placed her hand on it, and opened a hidden screen. Inside was a single command button, one that hadn't been used in over 100 years. The label read, "Protocol 0. We will not speak," she said. "We will not warn them, but we will answer." Far from Earth, in spaceports and dark corners of the galaxy, strange things began to happen. Old Terran warships, hidden for decades, suddenly lit up. Their systems hummed to life. Their engines glowed with deep red light. These were not normal ships. These were ghost ships, silent, deadly, and unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Meanwhile, elite soldiers, humans trained in secret on Earth's dead moons, were called back. They didn't ask why. They already knew. They were called the Wardens. And they were going to find EN. Back on Lyra 7. The fire still burned. Jarin, barely alive, crawled from the rubble. He held Ila's hand as she whispered, "They took her. They took our daughter." He looked up at the sky. There were no human ships, no soldiers, nothing. But in his heart, he whispered, "They're coming." The rest of the galaxy saw the message too. Some laughed. Others waited to see what Earth would do, but no one expected what came next, because Earth didn't send a reply. They sent silence, and in the silence, warships moved. In the silence, warriors armed themselves, and in the silence, vengeance began. The galaxy knew Earth as quiet observers. Strong, yes, but always distant. But there was a secret, buried deep in Earth's history, that most civilizations had forgotten. That secret was years ago. When Earth signed the Velari Peace Pact, a quiet agreement was made. Arin, The first child born between a human and Vilari was the symbol of unity. Her safety wasn't just important, it was sacred. Every Earth leader since then had sworn a silent vow. If Arin is ever harmed, the silence will break. Now, that vow had been tested high above Earth. In a black ship with no name, Director Rana stood in front of a wall of holograms. Each one showed something different. Arin's last known location, the attacker's ship design, a map of forgotten war zones. Beside her stood Commander Hale, a man chosen to lead Earth's most dangerous unit, the Black Shield. They've taken the child, Rana said coldly. You know what this means. Commander Hale nodded. It means the old promise is alive again. Not a word leaves this room, she warned. No media. No broadcasts. The galaxy must believe we are still silent. We are, Hale replied, but the silence is about to kill. On the dark side of Earth's second moon, the Black Shield prepared to leave. There were no flags, no music, no ceremony. Each soldier wore jet black armor with no markings. Their faces were hidden. Their training was forgotten by history, erased from records. One soldier, Mira, checked her weapons in silence. She was known among the team as the Ghost, fast, quiet, and without mercy. Beside her, Lennox, a tech expert, opened a datapad showing Arin's DNA signature. They moved her to an old mining station in Sector 4C. He whispered. Mira narrowed her eyes. Then we go there. We get the girl. Meanwhile, across the stars, the alien empire responsible the Zelari Dominion believed Earth would do nothing. Inside their war room, the Zelari warlord barked orders. Humans are weak. They chose peace. That child was bait, and they didn't even respond. An advisor stepped forward. But we've lost contact with 3 forward bases. No signs of attack. Just silence. The warlord waved a claw. Useless superstition. Earth is too slow to act. But just as he finished speaking, the room lights flickered. One of the command screens turned black. A single message appeared in red letters. We are coming. No source, no code, no location. Just that message. Panic swept across the room. Back on Lyra 7, Jarin had recovered enough to move. He found what was left of his home, dug through the ruins, and uncovered a small recorder. It held Arin's last voice log. Mom, Dad, I don't know where they're taking me. I'm scared. But I remember what the story said. Earth doesn't forget. Earth doesn't abandon. They will come. Jarin held the recorder to his chest. He looked up at the stars, whispering, Please, hurry. In deep space, the Black Shield ship drifted silently toward Sector 4C. Inside the command bay, Commander Hale looked at a photo of young Arin, smiling with her parents. She's not just one child, he said to his team. She is the line. The moment, the reason Earth rises again. No one touches the one we swore to protect, Myra said softly. Lennox added, Let's remind them why they used to fear us. And in that silence, Earth moved. Not with noise, not with warnings, but with precision, with cold purpose, and with the memory of a promise that could not be broken. Asterisk. The ship moved through space like a shadow. No lights, no sound, no trace. Inside, the Black Shield team sat in silence, trained to move without being seen, taught to act without hesitation. They were Deathworlders, born on Earth, the galaxy's most dangerous planet. Every alien empire knew the term, but few had ever seen one, and those who had rarely survived the meeting. Now, Earth's silence was over. The Deathworlders were in motion. Commander Hale stood over a glowing map. Sector 4C was marked in red. That sector had once been home to mining colonies, but now it was a graveyard of broken satellites and asteroid fields. Lennox, the tech expert, tapped a control panel. I cracked the transmission codes from the kidnappers, he said. Arin is being held on station for X9. It's locked down. No communication. Heavily armed. The Zelari think no one can get in. Hale's voice was cold. That's good. We like it when they think that. Mira smirked from the corner. She pulled on her black helmet and whispered, "Let's break their world." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, alien governments began to notice strange patterns that an entire Zelari supply fleet vanished near the shadow rim of the Orion Pass. A weapons factory stopped sending reports. One mining moon known for its anti-human. Propaganda was now radio silent. No one saw attackers. No one heard explosions. But things disappeared. Whispers began to spread. Earth is moving. They didn't send ships. They sent ghosts. Don't cross them. Not now. On Station Varex 9, Arin sat alone in a dark cell. Her arms were chained to the wall. The room smelled of oil, smoke, and fear. A tall alien guard entered, tapping the floor with sharp claws. "You are important to Earth," he sneered. "But Earth is weak. They won't come." Arin looked up with calm eyes. "You don't know them." The guard laughed. "You're just a child." She smiled faintly. So was the last storm that destroyed a planet. At the edge of station, Varex 9's orbit, the Black Shield arrived. The station was surrounded by asteroid fields and defense drones. But Hale's team didn't go through the front. They slipped through the shadows, riding stealth pods that attached to the underbelly. Of the station, no alarms triggered. No lights blinked inside the halls. Myra moved first silent, quick. One guard turned a corner and was gone before he could blink. No blood, no sound. Just gone. Lennox tapped into the station's cameras. "We have less than 10 minutes. Before they know we're inside." Hale nodded. "Then let's do this fast." On the control bridge of Varex 9, the alien commander was just finishing his meal when one of his officers shouted, "Sir, the outer sensors, something just vanished from them. No impact, no log. Run a scan," he ordered. But before the scan could finish, the main lights shut off. One by one, screens flickered and died. Then a single phrase appeared on the MOO. "Central monitor. You took the wrong child." Panic broke out. "Who's in our system? What's going on?" Before anyone could answer, explosions rocked the station in the cell block. Myra found AREN. She broke the door with one punch and stepped inside like a shadow coming to life. Arin blinked, unsure if it was real. Myra kneeled. "Arin, we're from Earth. We're here to take you home." Tears filled Arin's eyes, but she nodded bravely. "Let's go." Alarms started to scream now. The station was waking up. But it was too late. Earth's ghosts had already come. As they ran through the corridors, enemy guards tried to stop them. But Deathworlders didn't fight fair. They moved faster, hit harder, thought sharper. Hale's voice rang through the cones. "Get the girl to the exit. I'll cover the rear." Lennox shouted from the docking bay, "Extraction pod ready? Get her in now." Myra lifted Arin and ran, dodging lasers and fire. But even as explosions echoed behind her, she smiled. The galaxy had finally poked the wrong beast. As the extraction pod left the station, the last thing the Zelari commander saw on his broken screen was a message. "You stole peace. So now we return fire." The stars were calm again, but the silence was different now. Not peaceful, not quiet. It was the kind of silence that came after a storm, the kind that warned more was coming. Station Varex 9 was gone. Nothing but floating metal remained, broken and scorched. Inside that wreckage, hundreds of Zelari soldiers had vanished without a sound. No distress signals, no survivors, just emptiness. The galaxy didn't see what happened. No, One recorded it, but everyone knew. Earth's ghosts had arrived. On board the stealth ship Nightwind, Arin lay wrapped in a thermal blanket. Her small hands gripped Mira's armored glove as they flew through deep space. I thought they were going to kill me. Arin whispered. Mira knelt beside her, helmet off. Her short black hair was damp with sweat. Her voice was calm but firm. They won't touch you again. You're home now. Lennox appeared with warm food and a soft voice. We'll be back on Earth in 8 hours. Arin looked at him with wide eyes. Is Earth angry? Mira gave her a cold smile. Earth doesn't get angry. It remembers. Far away, the Zellari warlord slammed his fist into a control panel, cracking it in half. How did they get past our shields? How? No one answered. One advisor said quietly, there is no footage, no survivors. Not even wreckage we can analyze. It's like they were never there. The warlord hissed. What are they? Another alien spoke softly. Some call them Deathworlders. No, the warlord growled. This is worse. These are something else. These are the ones Earth only sends when they want the galaxy to remember who they are. Back on Earth, Director Rana walked through the vault of silence. A Mai, chamber deep underground where only one sound ever echoed. Orders. She stood before a steel wall covered in names. Each name belonged to someone Earth had sworn to protect across the centuries. With calm fingers, she added a new one. Arin Velari Jarin. The lights in the chamber turned red. A voice spoke from the wall. New addition confirmed. Protocol continues. She turned away and spoke into her comb. Begin Phase 2. All across Earth, systems woke up. Satellites that hadn't moved in 200 years adjusted their positions. Orbital platforms lit up. Factories long thought abandoned started building something big. Hidden codes were activated across Mars, Europa, and Titan Dot at Earth's edge. Near the dark zone of the solar rim, massive ships began to rise from icy shelters. Beneath frozen moons, they were not normal ships. They were legacy warcraft, each powered by tech Earth had hidden from the galaxy. Each one named after an old word from Earth's past. Wrath, Oathkeeper, Ghost Song, The Watcher, Ash of Silence. They were built not to start wars, but to end them. Meanwhile, Arin slept under warm blankets. Mira watched. Over her, eyes always scanning, never blinking. Hale joined her quietly. How is she? She's strong, Mira replied, but scared. Hale sat beside her. You know why they took her, right? Mira nodded. Not just because she's half human, because they wanted to test us. They tested the wrong planet. They sat in silence for a moment, watching the girl sleep. Then Hale whispered something Earth hadn't said in over a century. War is no longer coming. It's already here. The next day, the galaxy received a message. It wasn't sent by diplomats. It wasn't broadcast on open networks. It was delivered. Physically, a black drone that landed in the middle of the Zellari's central chamber. Opened with a soft hiss. Inside was a HOLO- recording. Director Rana appeared on screen. Her voice was calm, deadly, cold. You touched what was never yours. You broke the line we swore never to cross. There will be no talks, no peace, no mercy. You wanted silence. Now drown in it. The message ended. The drone exploded non-lethal, but loud enough to shake the entire hall. For the first time in centuries, the Zellari knew fear. And Earth? Earth did not wait for a reply. The ghosts were already en route to the next target. One by one, Earth would erase every threat that dared reach toward Arin, because this was no longer a rescue mission. This was a reminder. Asterisk. The galaxy spun as always, stars burning, planets turning, trade routes buzzing with life. But something had changed. A ripple of silence moved across systems. It didn't come from sound. It came from fear. Earth had stopped being quiet. Deep in space, near the borders of Zilari territory, a lone mining outpost floated above a dying moon. It was busy, loud, and filled with alien workers shouting over machines, and the sky above them cracked. Not thunder, not lightning, but a shadow. The first Terran warship had arrived. It didn't broadcast a warning. It didn't send codes. It didn't speak. The ship, code-named Oathkeeper, simply hovered in the silence. It was massive, like a floating black mountain, wrapped in energy that shimmered like fire underwater. Inside, Commander Hale gave a single order: drop cloak, begin strike. At that moment, the galaxy saw the true face of a Deathworld response. From the ship's belly, smaller crafts fell like comets, sleek, fast, sharp. They didn't fire missiles. They didn't need to. Instead, they used gravity pulses, waves of force that tore metal apart without making a sound. On the outpost below, alarms screamed. Zalari guards rushed to their turrets. One of them shouted, "We're under attack." "Who is it?" No one answered. Then the sky exploded as Earth's elite landed, silent, armored, unstoppable. Mira led the first strike team. She moved like wind through fire, her armor absorbing blasts and returning them in silence. One Zilari soldier aimed at her chest. She disarmed him before he blinked. Lennox followed, using his tech gear to shut down the station's defenses in seconds. Doors locked behind them. Lights shut off. Every corridor filled with panic and confusion. But Earth's warriors never shouted. They didn't need to. Their silence was louder than fear. From the command deck, Hale spoke into his comms. "Contain. No survivors unless they talk." A nearby soldier asked, "What if they beg?" Hale's voice stayed cold. "Then we listen. And we remind them Earth remembers." One Zilari commander tried to flee. He launched an emergency pod, hoping to escape into orbit. He didn't get far. Before his pod left the atmosphere, the Oathkeeper locked on. A single blue beam, thin as thread, touched the pod. It froze in place. And then, softly, it shattered into pieces. After only 7 minutes, the outpost was gone. No more noise. No more defense. No more Zilari presence. Earth's message was not spoken. It was written in silence, smoke, and shattered stone. Elsewhere in the galaxy, transmissions filled with panic began to spread. They didn't speak. They didn't negotiate. They came in black armor. We shot first. They didn't stop. We never heard them. They were already inside when the alarms rang. All the galaxy's powers began watching Earth again. And this time, they didn't laugh. In the central palace of the Zilari Dominion, the warlord stood before a council of trembling officers. One of them whispered, "Perhaps we should give the girl back." "She's already been taken," another said. "They found her, and they're still attacking." The warlord's eyes widened. Then this is no longer about the girl. He finally understood. Earth wasn't coming just to save her. Earth was coming to send a message. Back aboard the Oathkeeper, Hale watched the burning remains of the outpost fade behind them. He turned to Myra. "We'll hit the next one in 6 hours." "The one holding Velari prisoners?" Mira didn't even blink. "Good. Let's set them free." Lennox joined them with a fresh report. "Enemy chatter is rising. They're terrified. Some are even trying to blame other species." Hale smiled. Faintly. "Let them. The fear keeps spreading." He looked at the stars. They made a mistake? The message had always been clear. Earth would never start a war, but if you crossed the line, if you touched what they swore to protect, Earth would end it. Asterisk, the stars had grown quieter. Not in peace and fear. Entire systems had started going dark when they heard Earth was near. Outposts were abandoned. Stations were left behind. Armies, once proud, now hid in asteroid fields or behind neutral planets. Everyone was asking the same thing. Where will Earth strike next? But no one knew Earth wasn't just chasing enemies. They were searching for her again. AREN was safe. Or so they thought. After the rescue from Station Varex 9, she was moved to a medical unit hidden aboard the Ghost Song, one of Earth's oldest. Black ships, but something felt wrong. Aren stopped speaking. Her eyes stared at walls that weren't there. Her hands trembled at night. And when Myra touched her shoulder, Aren flinched. Myra sat beside her, voice soft. "You're safe now." Aren looked away. "No, I'm not." Commander Hall ordered a deep scan of her system implant standard. For high-risk rescues, what they found chilled every soul on board. Inside, Aren's bloodstream was a foreign microchip Zelari tracking tech. It wasn't just meant to follow her dot. It was designed to broadcast her thoughts, her fears, her dreams. Lennox studied the chip. This isn't just spying. It's programming. "Explain," Myra said sharply. They were trying to. "Change her, twist her mind, make her forget Earth." Myra stood slowly. "Then we destroy whoever built it." Using the chip's last signal trail, Lennox tracked its control point to an old, forgotten station on the edge of the burning belt, a dangerous nebula cloud with sharp radiation waves and unstable gravity. Only one word kept repeating in the meh. Zelari data, the chamber. Commander Halle gathered the Black Shield team. "We're not just erasing a base this time," he said. "We're burning down a lab that tried to break her mind." "Will she recover?" someone asked. Hale's voice was hard. "Not unless we end this." Ghost Song entered the burning belt quietly. The radiation scratched at its shields. The lights dimmed. Every few minutes, the ship shook like the stars themselves were warning them away. At the center of it all, floating like a spider's web, wrapped in fire, was the chamber. It was black, thin, and alive. It breathed light in patterns, like it was thinking. Mira stared at it. "This isn't a station. It's something else." Lennox nodded slowly. "It's part machine, part organic. It's learning from her." As the strike team prepared to land, Myra turned to Aren. "You don't have to come." But Aren shook her head. "I want to see what they tried to turn me into." They entered through the chamber's outer layer. The walls pulsed like skin. The halls whispered. Names in dead languages. One of the soldiers vomited in his helmet from the pressure. "This place isn't just evil," Myra whispered. "It's alive." A glowing door slid open on its own. Inside, they found hundreds of children. Some human, some Vilari, some no longer either. The truth was worse than anyone expected. The Zelari weren't just using AREN. They had copies of her DNA. They had been trying to build something stronger than a Death Worlder, something mixed, something they could control. But Earth's warning had come too soon. They hadn't finished. So they rushed to erase it, blew up some stations, hid the rest, but Earth found them anyway. Because Earth doesn't forget. In the central chamber, a tall alien stood inside a glowing ring of energy. He had no weapons, just long fingers and cold eyes. "I created her," he said. "Not the child, the mind within her." "You built lies," Halle replied. "No," the alien said calmly. "I built peace. A child who wouldn't know war, who wouldn't trust humans, who would fear her own blood." Myra raised her weapon. "You failed." He looked at Aren. "You were meant to forget Earth." Aren stepped forward. Her voice was quiet, but Earth didn't forget me. She raised her hand and pulled the trigger herself. One shot, one moment, and the creator of her pain was gone. They rescued the other children, destroyed the chamber, burned every file, and left a beacon behind with only one sentence. You tried to rewrite her. We rewrote you. Back aboard Ghost Song, Aaron sat by the window, watching the stars. Mira knelt beside her. Still feel afraid? Aaron shook her head. Not anymore, because now I know who I am. She looked into Myra's eyes. I'm a child of Earth. The stars no longer looked peaceful dot, where once light danced calmly through space. Now shadows moved between systems long, dark shapes with Terran symbols glowing like silent warnings. The galaxy had hoped Earth would return to silence, but Earth had changed. The child they swore to protect had been taken, broken, and used. Dot and Earth remembered Dot from the dark zone beyond Sector 9. The Titan-class warship Ash of Silence appeared, an ancient Terran vessel so large it blocked out moons when it moved. No other planet had ever seen it awake, but now it led the fleet. Dot behind it came the Wrath, the Watcher, and Ghost Song Earth's Black Fleet. Once hidden for centuries, now revealed in full strength. Inside the command chamber of the Zalari Dominion, their warlord stood frozen as 12 Terran warships surrounded his capital. We didn't declare war. He stamered. A young officer beside him whispered, You didn't need to. You kidnapped Earth's child. You wrote your death. They won't destroy a capital world, the warlord said, half hopeful. But he was wrong. This wasn't about war anymore. This was about memory. Oaths. Vengeance. Inside Ash of Silence, Commander Hawley stood before a screen, showing Earth's message set to broadcast. In every system the moment they struck. He turned to Myra. She's watching, you know. Myra nodded. From the window, beside the stars. And the message? Myra pressed a button. It's ready. Aaron stood quietly, her reflection glowing in the glass. She didn't wear chains anymore. She wore black armor, now light, strong, and marked with her mother's name on one shoulder, and her father's name on the other. A small smile touched her lips as the countdown began. 10, 9, 8. The Zalari fleet scrambled ships. Thousands launched into orbit, hoping to break the blockade. But when they rose, they didn't find a battlefield. They found emptiness. No lasers, no words. Just one giant warship moving forward, slow and steady. Suddenly, the space around them folded. Earth's gravity weapons activated. Ships collapsed under their own weight. Some crumbled in seconds. Others vanished entirely, pulled into black tunnels of compressed light. Within 4 minutes, 8,000 ships were gone. On the ground, the Zalari warlord opened a final channel to Earth. He didn't beg. He simply asked, What do you want? And on every screen across the capital, Earth's message began. You laughed at our silence. You thought it meant fear. You thought it meant weakness. But we were watching. We were waiting. We were remembering. You took a child we swore to protect, and now we take everything else. The bombardment wasn't loud. Not like old wars. It was silent, precise. One by one, the Zalari's strongest cities were erased by beams of pure gravity. No fire. No debris. Just emptiness. Perfect silence where screams should have been. In the final hour, Mira and Hal stood beside Aaron on the bridge. Aren looked at the fading red planet in the distance. Her voice was soft, but strong. Will anyone try again? Myra shook her head. Not after this. Not for 1,000 years. Hawley added, You've done more than survive, Aaron. You became Earth's reason to speak again. Aaron turned toward the stars. I don't want revenge. You didn't start it, Myra replied. But Earth ended it. As the Terran fleet turned away, leaving the shattered remains of the Zalari homeworld behind, one final message echoed across the stars. Silence is no longer our answer. If you harm what we love, we will answer with the storm. And From that day forward, across every star map, one rule was written in bold beside Earth's name. Never touch what Earth has sworn to protect.